All right, Shalom. Giving all praises, glory, and honors unto Yahweh. By Shem Yahshua, by Shem Kavadash. Double honors to the apostles, elder bishops of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the 144,000 blessed and hopeful elect out there. This is your brother, the priest, is I one from GMS Atlanta. Back with another edifying video. And this will come to pass sooner than later. This will come to pass sooner than later. I'm talking about prophecy. And the prophecy that I'm talking about is the MOTB, which we here at GMS, we teach is the chip implant, the micro C-hip, the biometric implant, the Neuralink, the digital all, which would be a device embedded in the body that will be a marker of servitude to the Edomite elites. And we here at GMS have been 100% correct when it comes to that particular prophecy. All the prophecies, but I'm just speaking specifically about the particular prophecy of the MOTB. All these other Israelite groups, IOIC, ISUPK, HOI, WFI, and other groups, they're wrong when it comes to breaking down Revelation 13, 16, 17 on down to the 18th verse. So I want to start off here. I want to speak on this interview that I found it on YouTube. The Apostle Har, the Apostle Kabod, all the apostles, Apostle Ramallah, they all mentioned this this interview between Alex Jones and Aaron Russo. And in this interview, Aaron Russo, who you see on the screen here, he was speaking to Alex Jones, and he was speaking about the coming future society, which will be ran behind the scenes by the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, the international banking families, trillionaire banking families. And he made a particular point about the future of the world's citizens and the masses of the people. And this is something that the apostles always quote about in this interview. And I'm going to play the clip. Now, this interview, like I said, I found it on YouTube. It is called Reflections and Warnings, an interview with Aaron Russo. Let's see here. It's been up for a number of years now. As you can see, it's been up since 2010. So if you know the actual name of the interview, then you can find it. I recommend the brothers to download this interview. You know, it's good information. Because no telling how long, YouTube is going to keep this up. But I did find it. I know the Apostle Hart had mentioned, if he happens to, I left a comment on his video, one of his videos earlier today that he spoke about the MOTB. I left a comment on his comment board mentioning this interview and then where to find the clip. So if he happens to see the comment and read it and then go to this interview, or or even see this video, like I said, if you all want to, then download it. But I'm going to play the main point of the information that we do use out of this interview. It's a hour and 35-minute, 45-second interview. And starting a little bit around the 33-minute mark. I'll just go to the top of 33. And I'll play the interview. I'll play this clip from the interview. And you'll see what I'm talking about. But the future of this society has always been to implant the population with biometric chips under the skin. And now they have the technology via Neuralink, and which is owned by Elon Musk. And you also have Synchron, which is a company which Jeff Bezos of Amazon and Bill Gates of Microsoft, or the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, they invested in Synchron together to produce a brain-computer interface that you can use to that a patient can use to control computers with their minds or get back the use of their limbs through technology. Same thing as the Neuralink. And of course, you have the implantable micro C hips that go on your hand. You got different companies. You got Positive ID. You have, as well as Dangerous Things. And you also have Wallet More. And I've done videos on this over the years. And this is something that Aaron Russo here, you see on the screen, he speaks about that. Okay, so this is the full interview. Like I said, it is on YouTube, but I recommend you download it because it may not be on YouTube any longer. So you can download it, or you can take a part of this clip and keep it for yourself. And Aaron Russo, he's going to speak about what the elites plan to do to the society. And like I mentioned, this will come to pass way sooner than way later. Okay? We're in the time of the mark of the beast, the MOTB prophecy to come to pass, and GMS is 100% right when it comes to this prophecy in the scriptures. All right, so let me go ahead and play it. Let's go.
It was just a lack of caring, and that's just not who I was. It was just sort of like cold, it was just like cold, and I used to say to him, what's the point of all this? You have all the money in the world you need, you have all the power you need, what's the point? What's the end goal? And he said the end goal is to get everybody chipped, to control the whole society, to have the bankers, the elite people, the bankers and some governor controlling the world. And I said, all the people in the Council on Foreign Relations believe this way you do? He said, no. Most of them believe they're doing the right thing. A lot of them believe.
All right, so you heard him. I'm going to play it again. Okay? I'm going to play it again. And you're going to hear what he says about what they want to do with everybody, the elite bankers.
What's the end goal? And he said the end goal is to get everybody chipped, to control the whole society. You have all the money in the world, and that's just not who I was. It was just sort of like cold, it was just like cold, and I used to say to him, what's the point of all this? You have all the money in the world you need, you have all the power you need, what's the point? What's the end goal? And he said the end goal is to get everybody chipped, to control the whole society. You have all the money in the world you need, you have all the power you need, what's the point? What's the end goal? And he said the end goal is to get everybody chipped, to control the whole society. You have all the money in the world you need, you have all the power you need, what's the point? What's the end goal? And he said the end goal is to get everybody chipped, to control the whole society. To have the bankers, the elite people, the bankers and some governor controlling the world. And I said, all the people in the...
So, there you have it. That's the point of this particular clip here, as you heard him. Now, he's speaking about Nick Rockefeller. Speaking about Nick Rockefeller, one of the elite banking family members that he met after he had did the movie, and Apostle Gabar, he speaks about this all the time. After he did the movie, I should forget the name of the movie. Is it Trading Places? Did Aaron Russo produce Trading Places movie?
I found this on the web.
Yeah, I believe it was Trading Places. And it should mention Aaron Russo. Let's see here. Writers. Let's see what it says here. Did Aaron Russo produce Trading Places?
Here's an answer from Wikipedia.
Yeah. All right. So Aaron Russo, he produced the movie Trading Places, and he got close to Nick Rockefeller, and he told him all this information about what the elite banking families would do in the end, and they want to implant everyone with the micro hits. So, like I said, this interview here, Reflections and Warnings, an interview with Aaron Russo, and it is on YouTube, but you also find it on Rumble. You can find it on other websites if YouTube happens to take this down. And I did mention this to Apostle Hart on his comment board, just in case he wants to find it on YouTube. So let's see. Now, what I want to do is, let's see if any of this is true. Is there an agenda to put these implantable devices in the human body? So what I have here is from the worldeconomicforum.org. This is, as you can see here, World Economic Forum, Advancing Digital Agency, The Power of Data Intermediaries, Insight Report, February 2022. And I got this document from the Apostle Ramlab that he mentioned on one of his recent videos going into this topic. And so I'm just going to bring out the same information that he did. If you didn't see it, so I'll just read. Let's see here. So what I want to do is I want to get to the main point. All right. So here's one. It says the challenge: human technology interaction and the data value chain. Trust between parties who seek to share data is not a default state. So they pretty much want to link humans with technology. Okay, so I'm not going to read all of this, and this is the official report. So I want to scroll down to page 23. Page 23. Moving towards trusted digital agency. All right, moving towards trusted digital agency. Digital agents may negotiate access to data above and beyond a simple binary gated function. And there's the human body image right there. So digital identity, and I speak on this a lot on my videos, digital IDs. So I'll read some of this. So it says a digital ID is the electronic equivalent of an individual's identity card. It is a way to provide verified, personally identifying information of an individual for a software to read and process. Both online and offline environments can adopt digital identity, and it can also act as a key by storing and deploying permission. Carefully designed and properly managed, digital ID can also enhance privacy protection and reduce the rise of identity fraud, since each time only minimum information is needed for authentication for the specific purpose. And this is why they use RFID technology, because RFID, according to most information about it, and NFC as well, near field communication. RFID stands for radio frequency identification. Pretty much when you put your smart card or your smartphone up to a reader, like a payment terminal, the information that the payment terminal receives from the card is a small amount of information, which will pretty much be the information needed to pay for an item. So it's not like it's giving everything out. Like, for example, on your smartphone, it's not taking all the information out of your smartphone, it's just taking away the payment information. So that's what they are saying here, that the same concept would be applied to digital IDs to combat ID fraud. So it says some of the biometric-based digital ID systems. Now, biometric, bio meaning body, and metric meaning to measure. So you have systems in place that measure, that use the body as a measurement, as a way to receive information instead of an actual physical digital device. So it says some of the biometric-based digital ID systems have already been adopted in financial transactions and for a cash-free shopping experience. So when you read the scriptures and you go into the prophecies about the MOTB, this is what it means by buying and selling. Because what is it? Oh, you know what? Let me do this. Let me go to it. Okay? Because this is what Aaron Russo was talking about when he said the Rockefellers were telling him about everything would be on these chips. So this is Revelation 13 and 16. And he called it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. Now, when you look at this, these categories of people, small and great people, rich and poor people, free and bond people, this is pretty much all of society, all right? All citizens, no matter their financial or social status, will be caused to receive, it says, a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, okay? So it's what these the buzzword for causing all to receive the mark, or the MOTB, is inclusion. All right, you'll see in these articles about digital ID, they use inclusion a lot. Okay, they also use the word interoperability. These are all buzzwords for the elites establishing the new image of the beast, the updated digital version of the image of the beast, which is a digital society, a digital cashless society. Okay? It says in that no man might buy or sell. So this is talking about economics, the way that the rich and poor and free and bond will interact with society, which is through what? Consumerism, right? Buying and selling. You would have to have a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. So it says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So this is tying all of this together will be digital identification. And IUIC, they haven't come out and said that the mark is the implant like GMS says, but they do tie in digital ID now to this prophecy. And why are they doing that? Because it's obvious at this point. And since they've been going back and forth to Africa, there's something called ID for Africa, which they've been having every year for, I believe, the last maybe 2 years. ID for Africa is pretty much a digital identification progress meeting that different countries in Africa are having about progressing and advancing these different countries in the continent of Africa towards digital identification, okay, and making them cashless, all right, and taking these more rural villages and rural countries and bringing them to the New World Agenda, ID for Africa. So IUIC has now have to mention digital ID because that's something that these African leaders are speaking about. And they meet with some of these leaders and religious leaders, and they go in these streets and they have these schools in Africa, right? But see, they don't have the full truth. That's why they got those canisters thrown at them and the rocks thrown at them over there in Kenya, because they're not coming fully in the truth of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You know, they're still pushing that Christ nonsense. So they're getting pushed back over there. All right? But GMS, meanwhile, we got brothers in Africa teaching this doctrine. Because they're coming in the names of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and their full truth. So they've added digital ID to their breakdown. The Bishop Nathaniel, he mentioned about the Charagma, but then he went and tied the 666 to Nero, and that's wrong. But then Deacon Malachi, he mentioned the digital ID. And so, you know, and that's why we say either they sold out or the Lord ain't dealing with them. But eventually these different Israelite groups, their leaders, are going to have to deal with this prophecy and deal with the microCHIP implant, right in their face. Okay? So now going back to this here, the WEF, the World Economic Forum article here, dealing with these digital IDs. All right, it says I'm reading on the top right here, some of the biometric-based digital ID systems have already been adopted in financial transactions and for a cash-free shopping experience. Such authentication and authorization processes can be completed in real time and free of hassle. Good digital identity has 5 key components as defined by a multi-stakeholder group curated by the World Economic Forum. Useful, inclusive, remember I just said that, inclusive. All right, well, how is it going to be inclusive? Small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. Okay? Secure, offers choice, fit for purpose. And it says figure 2 shows the importance of identity in everyday lives. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, and this is figure 2. Telecommunications, healthcare, financial services. To open bank accounts, carry out online financial transactions. So if you want to buy and sell, you're going to have to be tied to their digital identity, which is what? Entities, devices, things, right? Internet of things or Internet of people as well. So if you want to buy and sell, you're going to have to comply with this digital identity system. See, GMS has been right, man. It says food and sustainability. You want to buy food, you want to eat, drink, digital ID. All right. You're going to need digital ID. Travel and mobility. Okay, you're going to need digital ID to book trips, to go through border control between countries and regions. That's why they're using this immigration thing as a way to, okay, what the solution is. If these Hispanics want to come into America and become citizens, they're going to have to get this digital ID. And they're already pushing biometrics at the border, but you still got people that are here legally that are already in the country. So you push them out and then offer them digital ID to get back in. That's just my take on it. And then they've pushed in different states here in the U.S. You got to have the real ID to travel. So you got to update your driver's license and get the real ID. Now that's not the MOTB, but this is just showing you that they are slowly but surely moving in that direction. Okay. Humanitarian response, e-commerce. To shop, to conduct business, transactions, and secure payments. You're going to need digital identity. Social platforms for social interactions. Yeah, your Facebooks, your Instagrams, your TikToks. To access third-party services that rely on social media logins, you're going to need digital ID. E-government for citizens to access and use services. To file your taxes, you're going to need digital ID. To vote, collect benefits, to get right. If you want WIC, you Israelite women, you so-called black Hispanic women, y'all on the government benefits, going to need a digital ID. See, we've seen this coming years ago, but now they're starting to put the system in place. Okay? It says digital identity has an evolving scope. Okay? It has an evolving scope. This is on their official website. All this information you can tie back to Revelation, the 13th chapter. Okay? Authentication. Processes that determine if authenticators used fingerprints, passwords to claim an identity are valid. Okay. All right, now here's what I want to get. Evolutions in digital identity solutions and how they can help. This is coming way sooner than you think, man. Okay? And this came out in 2022. Now, I'm not sure if they do it every year or maybe every 3 to 5 years. I'll have to look that up. But this information is as of 2022. And if that's the case, so imagine what they're bringing out in 2025. So it says now, evolution, future. And this is the same information that the Apostle Ramallah brought out. So it says digital ID, consent, traditional intermediaries and user consent, web browsers, apps, mobile devices. Right, because when you use your mobile device, you're consenting to go on these websites. And it gives you a list with characteristics. It gives you a list of everything that entails. Evolution, shift, control to user. Personal data stores, on-device data storage, and more advanced data intermediaries, smart devices, agents, more collaborative digital ID approaches within sectors, health, banking at national levels, across borders or at regional levels, travel, corridors, trust. So everything that we're seeing here in America, these protests with these immigration and deportation, or these illegals, those issues and clashes that are going on. Okay, well, the solution is going to be digital ID. Oh, there's inflation and there's shortages and the supply chains of certain shipping in countries, digital ID. Identity fraud. Oh, you want to? Social media. Cause see, here it is. A lot of these protests.
90.
Another thing that they're doing overseas and gonna start doing here in the states is a lot of these protests are the reason why you get hundreds of thousands of people protesting at one time is through social media. So if you want to get on social media, you're going to need the digital ID. So then they can identify you. So they'll know who's going to what protests and this, that, and the other, and who's organizing these things. So they're tying you all into a digital prison. That's what this is about, and that's what Aaron Russo mentioned. Okay, now here's the point. Future, okay, agency. Next level of data intermediaries embedded in body. Embedded in body. What are they going to embed in the body? It says devices, homes, cities, etc. So they want to put the technology for the digital ID, okay, which is the implant, which is the mark of the beast being fulfilled, MOTB. They're going to embed it in body, embed it in devices, embed it in your homes and cities. What's your cities? Your 15-minute cities. Okay, that's the future. A fundamental level of ID proofing and verified attributes remains. I am really who I say I am. So them embedding the technology in your body, that will be your new ID. And that's for the future. Okay? So that's the main point I want to get on this. Like I said, this will come way sooner than later. Right, when you go all the way up, this is from www.3 wefforum.org, Advancing Digital Agency, the Power of Data Intermediaries, the Insight Report, February 2022. So they want to embed the technology in your body, which is pursuant to what? Revelation 13 and 16. Okay? They're already doing it. 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 Right? Right? Let's look up brain implant, right? Brain implants. They're already doing it. This will come to pass sooner than later. What does a brain implant do? How many people have implanted Neuralink, right? Neuralink has implanted its device in a third human patient and plans more procedures in 2025. So this is beyond 2022. So there's a device that's been embedded. Another word for implanted is embedded in the body, in the brain of a patient, the Neuralink, 2025. This is from January 11, 2025. The device allows paralyzed individuals to control external devices with their thoughts. The company is conducting studies to evaluate the safety and efficacy of its brain implants. And all I did was Google brain implant. Right? That's all I did. Hand implant. Let's just see what it says. Nah, that's not what I want to do. That. Here we go. What country is implanting in humans? Here we go. So I'll get this. While no single country is actively implanting C-hips in its citizens as a government mandate, right? It is a prophecy that it will be mandated, though. The trend of human microchip implants is more prevalent in Sweden, right? Apostle Hall always brings out how it's in Sweden heavy. Thousands of Swedes have opted for implants, primarily for functions like gym access, e-tickets, and storing emergency contact information. Now you had this guy from One Body, which I did a video on him yesterday. He's completely going off on the scriptures, saying there were no slave ships and just madness. Anyway, he said before, back when it was on the streets, he said that they're not going to be no. He said there ain't going to be no microchips because they can't they can't store all that information inside a tiny computer chip. Like, what do you think your smartphone is, man? It's a tiny computer with all the information on it. But they can go even smaller. See, the Lord has set up One Body, IUIC, ISUBK, all these different groups outside the Great Millstone as stumbling blocks for the Israelites He don't want to come into the full truth. They know they're Israelites, but they're set up as false prophets, and they're set up as the blind to lead the other blind into a ditch, as Yahushua spoke about. So they can use these small implantable devices, okay, to store, it says, emergency contact information. Additionally, companies in the United States like 3 Square Market, I wonder if Bishop Nathaniel will ever speak on this, 3 Square Market. This was back in 2017. It says have offered implants to their employees. The trend is also gaining traction in other countries like Germany. I didn't know that. Germany, with thousands of individuals receiving implants for various purposes. And the scripture says that the beast is going to mandate it. Now, who's the beast? Well, part of the beast, you got these European countries like Sweden, Germany, Spain, okay? And in Spain, you have the Baja Club, Beach Club, that going back to the 90s and early 2000s, they were giving patrons exclusive access if they got the implant in their hands. Okay? I believe that was in either Barcelona or Madrid, Spain. Okay? It says here's a more detailed look. Sweden, United States, right? 3 Square Market. Sweden, other countries. Germany, for example, has seen a growing number of individuals opting for micro C-hip implants, with one man even using it to store a link to his last will and testament. China, Japan, and South Korea. And we know China is heavy with the technology, and as well as Japan, so they're going to push it heavy over there in Asia. And South Korea is a major ally of America, so there you go. It says these Asian countries have also shown an increased interest in human microchipping, particularly in areas like payments and healthcare. And they're also developing their own digital ID systems over there in all these countries, China, Japan, South Korea, okay? So, hey man, we're in the time of this scripture coming to pass, okay? This will come to pass way sooner than later, okay? And I also wanted to make sure that I, show that this interview is on YouTube, okay? I'll play this one last time.
Council on Foreign Relations believe this way you do? No. Most of them believe they're doing the right thing. A lot of them believe it's better off being socialistic. We have to convince people.
Let me go back.
Society. You have all the money, and that's just not who. What do the rest of the people mean to you? They don't mean anything to you. They're just serfs. They're just people. It was just a lack of caring. And that's just not who I was. It was just sort of like cold, it was just like cold, and I used to say to him, what's the point of all this? You have all the money in the world you need, you have all the power you need, what's the point? What's the end goal? And he said the end goal is to get everybody chipped, to control the whole society. to have the bankers, the elite.
And with that, I'll say shalom.